YouTube, what is going on? My name is Argon. Welcome back to some Fortnite action. Today we got a top 5 for you, or more like a bottom 5. I don't know what you want to call it. Previously, I've done a top 5 best weapons in Fortnite Battle Royale. I actually revisited this again recently because the first time I did it was back in December, I think. So quite a bit has changed since then. So I had to recheck the top 5 to make sure everything was still cool. But we've never done a bottom 5 or top 5 worst guns in Fortnite Battle Royale. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that. There's a lot of people that are picking up weapons maybe that aren't that useful. I'm going to explain why and exactly why you don't want to use these weapons and maybe certain situations where they might be okay. But either way, these are the worst weapons in Fortnite Battle Royale at the moment. And starting in at number 5, guys, we have the brand new, the fresh out of the box guided missile that was just added recently. Now, the reason why that I put this at the bottom 5 and it's actually at 5 instead of higher is it's not entirely useless, but in solos it's really bad because you're just leaving yourself exposed, and if somebody like sees you using it, they can just easily push up on you and just destroy you. I did that previously. I did a video on that where I was actually just saw a guy with a guided missile and I just waited till he shot it. I got close and then I went in and shot him in the face. It was no problem. So for that reason, it's not that good in solos at all. Duos is a little bit questionable. You can get away with it if your partner's helping you out and if you're at a good amount of distance. Squads is definitely a lot more viable just because one guy can do the guided missile and the other 3 can help with all the fighting if you have your whole squad up. But ultimately what the guided missile ends up being, guys, is just a way to shoot down people's walls. People, they don't end up really, getting killed by it because it's so easily defended. You just burn through a lot of rockets. The RPG is quite a bit more useful just because you can spam it faster because it reloads quicker. I don't know how long the RPG reloads, but the guided missile takes like 3 seconds or so to reload. Not to mention all the time you're spending flying it around. It's just slow. It's easy, and then it can be shot down on top of everything else. But in general, I don't see a lot of people dying from it, so it is what it is. I put it in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, guys, we have the Revolver. The Revolver for me is a cool gun to use, especially the blue one. It's got more damage, but in general it doesn't do a lot of damage, and then it's better at range. You don't want to use it up close, and now that they've just nerfed the ranges, it's just more useless, and it shoots real slow, and it's got with weapon bloom and everything, it's just hard to get shots and hits. If you can get somebody with a headshot with the blue one, you'll probably take them out assuming they don't have any shield. It's just really hard to knock people down with it. It's just not that good. It's cool, but it's just not that good, and ever since they changed it to take medium rounds, it's even more useless. In fact, the only real use of a revolver is when you see it spawn on the ground, it's going to have ammo next to it, so I just run over and grab medium rounds. That's really the only reason to have it. Otherwise, it's really pointless. But that's, for me, the revolver I'd rather have a pistol or a silenced SMG or some of these other weapons. Now, moving on into the top 5 worst guns in Fortnite Battle Royale. Number 3 is the minigun. Now, the minigun is... People were really concerned about the minigun when it came out because you could just spam bullets. It gets a lot less use now because it's really not that helpful. What ends up happening, especially the way that they balance it, is if you ever notice, the player that's using it has to be kind of standing up higher. They have to expose more of themselves in order to be able to use the minigun. So it's really easy to take those people off. You just build higher than them. They're just one snipe away from going down. I've taken out more people with the minigun that are using it against me than I've had luck trying to take people out with it. It's really hard to down people because it does really low damage. It's not going to be that accurate. It's cool for mowing down walls and stuff, but you have other options for that, especially late game. RPGs are just as good. Grenades are just as good. Even ARs are just as good. So I don't really care for it. I do like when my opponents are using it because it's easy to take them out. Now, if a whole squad's using miniguns against you, then it becomes annoying just because you're basically having to build yourself around, and if you run out of materials before they run out of ammo, that can be kind of a problem. But you know what? It is what it is. It's just not that useful of a gun, but that's why it's coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2, guys, we have the Sonar Missile, aka the crossbow. I call it the sonar gun because basically it doesn't do anything. If you get hit by it, it's not going to take you out. It only does like 70 damage, and in any situation, as long as you have bandaged all the way up, you're not going to get down by it, and for that reason, it's really pointless. It's hard to get kills with it. It's hard to even get hits with it, and all that it does is just notify somebody that's shooting at you that they're shooting at you. So all I use it for is when I hear it, I'm like, okay, there's an enemy in the area. It's almost like a UAV. You just hear this ping and you just hear that sound and you're like, okay, someone's around. They're not going to be able to hit us. We just have to move around a little bit. Now we got to go find them. You know what I mean? So it's really pointless. It also doesn't do damage to buildings. So that it's really, really useless. The only time it was cool was when it came out during Valentine's Day and it would shoot little hearts at you and make that little I think it did like a kissing sound when it would hit people, but that was pretty cool. But otherwise, it's really a useless weapon. And the worst part about it is when it spawns in a chest, it doesn't give you ammo, which really sucks because it has no ammo. It's definitely one of the worst weapons in the game in Fortnite Battle Royale, and definitely earning the number 2 spot. Now, coming in at the top worst weapon in all of Fortnite Battle Royale is the semi-auto sniper rifle. It is just trash, guys. I know the gold one sometimes can get you shots, but it's not that accurate, doesn't do that much damage, uses heavy bullets. I've always had this kind of theory of mine that you could use it to shoot down people's walls a lot faster, just because it might do more impact. I've never really tested it out, and it's also never really used in this situation that way, so it's really just pointless. And if you could pick up a bolt and have a shot at hitting somebody at range and take them out with one shot, I'd rather do that, because with the way that you have to hit sniper shots, how hard it is to hit sniper shots, why would you want to pick up a weapon that is probably the hardest weapon to get hits with, and then not even be able to take one person out with a one shot? Like, it's just the risk to reward factor is just terrible. It's just not a good weapon to have. I will leave behind semi-auto snipers all the time. I'd rather have a hunting rifle or even just a good AR. That's what I would take. Now, that rounds out the top 5 worst weapons in Fortnite Battle Royale, guys. If you want to take a look to remind yourself, out of the 5, 3 of them were, post-launch added in weapons that were kind of added in. I don't call them DLC, basically, just because the game's still early access, they're still trying to figure out what weapons belong, which ones don't. But you can see that the weapons they've been adding have not been all that OP, and 3 of them made it on the top 5 worst weapons list. Everything that came out at launch, it was really the most important weapons in the game. So that's pretty cool, guys. If it makes anybody feel better when they come out with new weapons or new stuff in the game, just realize that it's probably going to be really balanced, if not really not worth it. It's just like a fun thing to use, but you'll probably always go back to your regular guns, and so will everybody else. So that's that, guys. Top 5 worst weapons in Fortnite Battle Royale. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Obviously, there's going to be many of you guys that actually use these weapons on a regular basis and probably have viable ways to use them, and that's cool. That's good. That's awesome. But in general, from what I see from other players playing, my own experience playing, they're just not that good. In fact, they're the worst weapons of Fortnite Battle Royale. So if you did enjoy this, guys, make sure you hit that like button. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you aren't following me on social media, all the links are down in the description below. And as always, guys, my name is Argon, and may you never die to a bush. Peace.